Hello. The Tuesday of Holy Week is quite a long text. It goes from Mark chapter 11, verse 20, all the way through the end of chapter 13. I am not going to read all of it. I'm going to encourage you to grab a Bible and read it yourself. I trust that you are going to be able to. Um, and so I'm going to refer you to that. Um, It begins with Jesus telling a lesson of the withered fig tree. I am going to read this, Mark 11, 20 through 25. In the morning, so it's indicating that it's Tuesday, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree withered away to its roots. Then Peter remembered and said, Rabbi, look, the fig tree that you cursed has withered. Jesus answered, have faith in God. Truly, I tell you, if you say this to the mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, and if you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will come to pass, will be done for you. So I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. This passage begins with the disciples being surprised to see the fig tree withered and reduced. And Jesus says, if you pray and do not doubt, things can happen, which of course is a challenge for me, and I think a challenge for many other humans because, because it's sometimes hard not to doubt, because there are times that we feel like we have prayed earnestly and wholeheartedly, and we have not necessarily had our desired result. We know that God is with us. We know that God hears our prayers, but I haven't moved a mountain. At the same time, Jesus also ends by giving people kind of Mark's version of the Lord's Prayer. Whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father in heaven may also forgive your trespasses. Jesus emphasizes that right relationship with God will help bring us into a right relationship with each other, will bring us into right relationship with God. In verse 27, he comes to Jerusalem, and as he walks into the temple, he is challenged by the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. They question him, they challenge him, and he goes back and forth with them from verse 28 through 33. Then he does a parable, the parable of the wicked tenants, which is chapter 12, verse 1 through chapter 12, verse 12. He speaks to them. We don't know if he's speaking to these people who challenged him or to the crowd that we figure out are around him. It ends with Jesus saying that the keepers of the people working in the vineyard will kill the son of the vineyard owner. And it says this, when they realized he had told this parable against him, they wanted to arrest him, presumably the chief priests, elders, and scribes, but they feared the crowd. So they left him and went away. That's three opponents of Jesus. We see that Jesus is supported by and surrounded by the crowd. He is then questioned about taxes, the Pharisees and the Herodians. So we've had chief priests, elders, scribes, Pharisees, Herodians. All five of those groups now have come against him. They ask him a question about, should we give this coin, this denarius that has the Roman emperor's head on it? Should we use this for taxes or not? They think they've got him in a trap. And instead, Jesus says, give to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that were God's. And we find out at the end of this parable, which is 12, 13 through 17, and they were utterly amazed at him. Probably again the crowd is being amazed at him. They're spellbound at him. They're supporting him. They're following him. Then we have a question about the resurrection. Some Sadducees come. So we've had the chief priests, the elders, the scribes, some Pharisees, some Herodians, and now the chief And now the Sadducees. We have 6 different groups that have challenged Jesus on this Tuesday of Holy Week. And the Sadducees ask him about the resurrection. And they think that they've got him trapped. And this is 12:18 through 27. Um, and Jesus again is able to, defeat their logic. Then a scribe comes in 28 through 34 and asks which commandment is greatest of all. And Jesus says, first off, love your God with all your heart, your soul, mind, and your strength, and then love your neighbor as yourself. Um, and uh, and so we've got the scribes coming back again, just going over it. Chief priests, elders, scribes, Pharisees, Herodians, Sadducees, and now scribes came for round 2. Um, we hear that the crowd is listening with delight in 1237. This is potentially the 5th reference to the crowd supporting him. Jesus denounces the scribes. Jesus sees a widow giving a small amount of money, but a large amount relatively of her money. Jesus, as he's exiting the temple that afternoon or evening, in chapter 13, one of his disciples says, look at all these large stones, these great buildings. And he talks about what is going to be coming. He talks of persecution, of wars, of earthquakes. That is the entirety of chapter 13. It is a tense day. It is a day that Jesus has been challenged. It's a day that people are wanting to see him fail. He's teaching. He has the crowd roaring along with him, supporting him. He has lots of different groups that are against him. And in the backdrop of the temple, you have the Antonian fortress. You have the fortress where the Roman legions would have been garrisoned. And they would have seen this man surrounded by crowds, and they would have been aware of it too.